Most healthcare professionals hate their EHR because it costs money and it slows down their clinic. IntelliCure is different. IntellicureEHR actually makes you money, while simultaneously improving clinic efficiency. We'll talk about efficiency in another video. So how does IntelliCure actually make you money? By drastically optimizing your payer reimbursements. Okay, so how does IntelliCure do that? By automatically writing your chart documentation for you, error-free, and in a manner that payers understand and even prefer. IntelliCure automatically writes all your supporting justification as well. You see, as you chart with IntelliCure, artificial intelligence is working behind the scenes to write your documents. You select options from drop-down menus, IntelliCure writes complete sentences. You can even view these automatically generated documents as you chart, and edit them to your preference. Medicare and commercial payers essentially want a book about each patient visit, so IntelliCure asks you for the details and writes the story for you, like your own personal author. For example, let's say a patient named Eric Baker visits your clinic. Your staff inputs Eric's demographics, his medical history, takes his photo, and uploads it to the chart with IntelliCure's photo app. When you visit with him, you learn his chief complaint and reason for visit, shown here. Once entered, IntellicureEHR automatically writes the opening dialogue for your documents behind the scenes, which looks like this. When completed, the whole document that's sent through billing and to payers looks like this. It is the most complete wound care documentation possible, and you hardly wrote any of it. All you did was select details from lists of options. Payers are delighted when they receive documentation generated by IntellicureEHR. Some payers have even called us to ask how we get doctors to write with so much detail and with so few errors. Payers dock your reimbursements for errors in documentation. The average wound center is paid only 80% of their billed charges because of documentation errors. Wound centers using IntellicureEHR receive an industry-best 95% of their charges. That's a 15% difference and a 19% increase for the average wound center. Now ask yourself this: what could your clinic do with a 19% revenue increase? If you're a clinic director, that 19% could net you a decent raise and the funds to upgrade your clinic. If you run a standalone wound center, 19% could mean you invest in more referral marketing and in your staff while enjoying a nice vacation. But that's not the only way IntelliCure makes you money. You know all about MIPS, right? The CMS program that pays or penalizes physicians based on your quality of care? CMS tracks the quality of your care by reviewing data in your documentation. By meeting the MIPS criteria, you avoid a decrease to your Medicare reimbursements and could potentially earn an increase. For 2019, the MIPS bonus is a 7% increase to your Medicare payouts. But if you fail MIPS, you're hit with a 7% decrease. That's a 14% swing based on your MIPS performance. As part of the IntelliCure network, you're guaranteed to rank among the top 10% of medical providers in the country for quality care, which makes you eligible for that 7% bonus rather than a 7% penalty. Add the 19% increase we already mentioned to that 14% MIPS swing, and, depending on your payer mix, you're now looking at around a 33% revenue increase just by switching to IntellicureEHR. Look, if a 5% revenue increase justifies a pizza party, then a 33% increase justifies a team bonding trip to Cancun. IntellicureEHR, the wound care EHR that writes your documentation for you, optimizes revenue, and sends you to Cancun. And we didn't even talk about how IntelliCure's efficiency cuts staff labor hours down. Oh, and it eliminates super bills,